Saints Central, your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Shout out to the Who That Nation. We up in this thing. Sports Coma.
You know, this is the thing, man, you know, and I'm a fair dude, man. They did a good job today. Play calling, they started off a little stank and funk, but they were able to make the adjustments at halftime. They neutralized the rushing attack for the Rams in the second half. The offense got going on several series where they were able to score and put points on the board, which gave the defense an opportunity to rest. This ain't another 40-minute game for the defense and none of that nonsense. So they were rested and the defense had a better performance. So did the offense. And that's just fundamental football. When you speed up the offense and that's what they need to focus on doing, is having more concise and faster plays to get the ball out faster. You see what I'm saying? You do that helps. A lot of slant plays and comebacks I noticed today. The Saints used their playmakers and bashed the Rams with it. And then the defense got to the quarterback. They hurt Mathew Stafford, knocks them out of the game. That destroyed whatever offense the Rams had. They scored 2 touchdowns in the first half, but with Mathew Stafford out of the game, they didn't do anything. They can only muster 2 field goals. So the Saints did a great job. They did a great job. All right. So there you go. They're going to try to set up the onside kick again for the Rams with 6 seconds remaining on the clock to see if they can get one last shot at this thing. And there it is. They kicked it, and the Saints will retrieve a great play by Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry has been a big part of the Saints win today. He had a touchdown, several catches, and it was good to see Jarvis Landry involved in the Saints offensive game plan. Like I say, they have too many good players on the Saints offense and defense for the team to be this bad record-wise. So when they execute, and you see what they execute, and they do the things the right way, you see the Saints have success. So we missing Cam Jordan, we missing Marcus Davenport, and the Saints were still able to get a win on the Rams club. They knocked out and beat Stafford's in McVay. So the Saints going to kneel on the ball, and that's going to put the game in final, man. So that's the final. The Who Dat Nation, they get the win, and they break the 2-game slide right here, Papa. So the Saints get the win in the Superdome, family. They get to break the 2-game losing streak that we're on and get the win. So the Saints improved to 4-7 right now. So 4-7 with the win. And I must say that is a very positive thing for the Who Dat. So let's get immediately into some of these to the final statistics and the matchup, fam. And y'all, for all my family members that's listening, don't go anywhere. We'll have the post game from Dennis Allen from Andy Dalton, and whatever Saints on the post game, we'll have that covered soon as it's available. Soon as it's in, we'll pipe it in here for the Who Dat Nation. We'll cover and have the presser, the post game conversation, or the interviews, post game presser from Dennis Allen, Andy Dalton, and several others. So y'all stay tuned as we get going. All right, so this is the final game statistics right here by the Black and Gold, as they came alive and got more first downs than the Rams, 19-17. They went 4 of 11 on third downs versus 5 of 14 by the Rams. You had 62-56 on total plays, advantage Rams. The Saints had 323 total yards versus 336 by the Rams. The Saints averaged 6 yards per play versus 5.4 by the Rams. 12-11 on the drive for the Saints. 235 passing yards versus 188 by the Rams. You look at what the Saints rushing attack did, just 88 yards on 24 carries, and the Rams had 148 yards on 30 carries. So despite the Rams running and doing it and having probably one of their better games running, the offense wasn't there because Stafford was knocked out of the game. Red zone, Saints was down in the red zone 4 times and was 2 of 4. Rams 1 of 2 down there, and the Saints only 2 penalties for 15 yards, which was great, versus 6 penalties for 55 yards by the Rams. No turnovers in the game by either club, and instead of the Saints defense being on the field for 40 minutes over the last 2 games, they were only out there 28 minutes and 53 seconds. The Saints offense held the ball for 31 minutes and 7 seconds. So there you go with that being said. All right, so very positive numbers right there. Let's get into the individual statistics for the Saints. Andy Dalton, 21 of 25 for 260, had 3 touchdowns and averaged over 10 yards per throw. He was sacked 3 times, but really could have threw the ball away, but it's okay. 149.6 was the rating. He had probably one of his better games as a Saint, probably the best game as a Saint. Taysom Hill led the team in rushes. He had 9 carries for 52 yards, and Taysom averaged 6 yards per rush. They made sure they used Taysom Hill in this game. Alvin Kamara, 12 for 42 for 3.5, and altogether 24 carries for 88 yards for the Black and Gold. Wide receivers, Chris Olave, 6 times he was targeted, 5 catches, 102 yards, and he had 1 touchdown. Jawan Johnson, 3 catches off of 4 targets for 47 yards and a touchdown. Alvin Kamara, 4 catches for 47 yards off of 5 targets. Jarvis Landry, 3 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown off of 4 targets. Adam Troutman, 3 catches off of 3 targets for 12 yards. David Johnson got his first catch for 11 yards. Taysom, 1 catch for 8 yards. And Rashid Shaheed, 1 for 8. Callaway, 1 for 6 in this thing. Going defensive, Caden Ellis was the man of the hour for the Saints. 11 total tackles by Caden Ellis. He had a sack and a half by him. Caden Ellis probably is his best game as a Saint in this one here. He had 11 tackles to lead the Saints. Demario had 8. So a sack and a half, 1.5 on the sacks for Caden Ellis. Demario a half a sack. Carl Granderson had a sack and a half as well. They had 4 sacks. The other half a sack went to Kpassagnon, and Demario split it. 4 sacks by the Saints defense. Demario was the second leading tackler, followed by Granderson, who had a phenomenal game from the opposite position. Tyrann Matthew, 6 tackles in the matchup. Paulson Adebo and Alante Taylor along with David Onyemata, 5 total tackles there. And of course, Will Lutz did a wonderful job for us. He kicked a couple of field goals to help us. Blake Gilligan, 5 punts on the night for 239. He averaged almost 48 yards per punt and put 3 of the 5 inside of the 20-yard line. So solid game for the Saints offense and defense. Mathew Stafford was doing good until he was knocked out of there. 11 of 18 for 159, 2 touchdowns. He was at 126.8 on the rating. Bryce Perkins came in, was 5 of 10 for 64 yards. He was sacked 3 times, had a 70.4 on the rating there. Cam Akers, 14 rushes for 61 yards in the game. Perkins added almost 40 yards to their rushing total with his scrambles. Kyron Williams added 36 there in their rushing attack. actually helped them to a degree. But then when, like I said, when Stafford got knocked out, that pretty much stopped them. Their top wide receivers was Allen Robinson, 4 catches for 47 yards, 1 score. Higbee, 4 catches for 45 yards. Van Jefferson, 3 catches for 41. Tutu Atwell had 1 catch, the one hitter quitter for 62 yards on the Saints team. Their top tackler was Bobby Wagner, 11 total tackles, followed by Ramsey, 6. And of course, they did get 4 sacks on our guy too, is Leonard Floyd. He got a sack on the day as well. And then of course, that's what it is. It is what it is. So it is what it is on that fan. All right, so it is what it is. But anyway, let's get on to the post game, fam. Let's get the post game in a little bit. We're gonna see how that rolls in just a second. The press conference will be on in a little bit, and I'll play that. So y'all stay right where y'all at. Please feel free to hit the like button, family, up in this thing. So good win by the Saints, man. And the Saints, this was a promising win. Got to give it to them. I'm not gonna take nothing away from this team. This was a fantastic win by the Saints. They improved to 4-7, 3-4 at home. You got the Yuccaneers, or the Skunkaneers, as I call them, the next matchup, and then the Saints go into a bye week. And then I'm sorry. They got the 49ers next. I think it's the 49ers next we got. Yeah, we got the 49ers. Yeah, we got the Buccaneers. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord. You know what? Let me just pull up the damn schedule. I'm all mixed up here. Hold on here. Let me get my schedule up here. Hold on. I got it right in front of me. Hold on. Yeah. The Niners. I'm sorry. There you go. The Niners are next. All right, so we got the Niners followed by the Buccaneers, man. So that'll be interesting to see how we handle that, man. So we took care of business against them, and then 2 days after Thanksgiving, we got the 49ers matchup. Then we got the Bucs on December the 5th, and then the Saints go into the bye week. So if the Saints playing this out, and I'm not saying they can, thank you, Carla. Yeah. Well, no, that the Niners game. I want to see. Is it away? I want to say it's. Hold on. I'm at the pull. Is it away? Hold on here. Let me pull it up here. I'm gonna pull up the schedule here. Let me see. I'm gonna see if it's an away game. Let me make sure I get this right here. Give me a second. I'm gonna put their schedule up here for you, everybody to see. We'll put it right here, fam. That's how I do, man. It ain't nothing just to look at it, right? All right, so yeah, here we go. All right, so the win over the Rams, and then you got 2 road games. You got the away games. You got the Niners on the road next on the 25th. That's next Sunday at 3:25. So we got an afternoon game against the Niners, and then December the 5th, it's a Monday, a primetime game on ESPN against Tom Brady's Buccaneers. So we got an afternoon game against the Niners next Sunday, and then a Monday night game following that game against Tampa Bay at Tampa. So both of them on the road. Then we go into the bye, come back against Atlanta, and then we go up to Cleveland with Deshaun Watson's Browns, and then of course the Eagles. Then we close out against Carolina. So that's a tough schedule to finish up with, and we'll see what the Saints can do, man. So we'll just have to see how it flies. So very positive win right here for the Saints today, man. I got to give it to them, man. We did a wonderful job in handling the business, man. Paul says we just got to win more than one at a time. The hell we excited for? Yeah, it's a win. People happy to have a win, bro. That's what it is. People happy to get a win. All right. Mia says sorry, but no win next week. Barbara says Niners #1 defense. Want to know how we handle Kittle, McCaffrey, Debo. Yeah, it's a tough challenge, man. And that's what I'm saying. And you know what? Y'all are great. That's great points. And the Saints got a real positive win here. But to me, the biggest thing that I'm looking at for the Saints is the Saints are 0-4, I want to say, after every win. So the Saints are, they're 0-3 after every win. So, and that's this season. Every time the Saints win a game, they lose a game. And that's been Dennis Allen's forte. He hadn't been able to string wins together. So that's the challenge. Do they win for the first time this season under Dennis Allen administration? Can a team put together back-to-back wins? Can they do that? That's the question coming out of this game, because we knew the Rams should have been a win, because we know the Rams aren't a good team this year. They struggled to run the ball, even though they didn't run it against us. They ran it pretty well against us. The Saints, despite missing Cam and Davenport, was still able to sack this team 4 times, which is a positive. And, we didn't turn the damn thing all over either. So it was pretty good. So anyway, yeah, that's the question moving forward is the Saints can't afford to lose any more of these games. The Saints got to try to win out to the best of their ability. The only problem is, do you have faith in Dennis Allen to be able to galvanize the team to win back-to-back games? That's the question. Can he do that? He never done it before. Can he do it for the Saints? Because that will be telling. That will be the big telling sticking point of this here thing. The Saints, can he do it? All right, so Cameron says Ramsey and Donald are crying on the sideline. Well, it ends. A lot of those players are entitled, especially Jalen Ramsey. He's entitled. Mia says y'all will handle business with the Bucks. All right, well, we'll see. We need to handle the bit. I see you got the, what was that, the 49ers logo you had up there? That's pretty cool how you got that. Got the Superman F like the 49ers. But yeah, we gotta beat the 49ers. They're gonna be tough. Yeah, they're gonna be tough. You going out there to them and playing them. Every time we go out there to play the Rams, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. But the thing is not so much I'm worried about the 49ers as I am concerned about can Dennis Allen duplicate success from one game to a next. He's 0-3 this season, and that's telling. The Saints don't have any room for error in losing any more matchups if they intend to get back in the season. Like Q, it's over with. Not really, because if the Saints, and listen, it's Dennis Allen. I don't have faith. I have minus faith in Dennis Allen. That's the whole point. So they get a win. They've done this before. We've won and beat the Raiders, and then they bottom out against the Ravens, bottom out against the worst team in the NFL and the Steelers. Come back, get a win against the Rams. You got the Niners and the Buccaneers. These are not bullcrap teams. These teams are jostling for playoff position. The Saints going to have to step up. So can the Saints win 2 games in a row before the bye week? That's a big question. Can they do that with Dennis Allen at the helm? So I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. T-Rob says, bro, now they got, I know it's going to be tough. The Saints celebrate this win, but more than just celebrating it, can the Saints take things that they did that were positive from this game and transpose them onto the 49ers game and on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game? Are they disciplined, focused, and methodical enough to do that? That's the question. Now, if I believe in Dennis Allen, then I would say yes. But here's Dennis Allen.
You have at that position.
Yes, it was an ankle for Peyton Turner. He was listed as questionable to start and then ruled out.
On the field.
We're going to go ahead and toss things over to the press room. It looks like head coach Dennis Allen is at the podium.
I really thought offensively, I thought we played really well in the game. Specifically there in the second half for us to be able to move the ball like we did. I mean, coming out in the second half to start the second half and getting the touchdown, it was a huge momentum boost for us. So, happy to get the win and ready to get back to work.
In the third quarter, were there things you saw at halftime? Was there something you identified that we can go after that?
I think we felt like there were some opportunities for us, and I think our guys took advantage of those opportunities. So, we felt like there was some stuff that we could do in the run game that we liked against them, and we got to a few of those plays in the second half. And I don't know that the touchdown pass to Olave was under the circumstances was what we kind of expected, but we got a good look, and Olave ran a great route, and Andy put the ball on him. It was great protection. Our offensive line, I think, for as banged up as they are, I thought they came out, against a really good front and played outstanding in the game. So there's a lot of young guys that stepped up and took on an added role and played well.
Coach, did y'all match up or did you during practice during the week? Did you match up pro Stafford against where he's sitting out for some reason? Because I know you didn't really exactly time out.
Yeah, we had a pretty good feel for Stafford playing in the game, and so we had a little bit of a plan for Perkins being in the game, but yet we didn't expect to see him, for a whole half. So we had to make a few adjustments there as we went along. But yeah, we kind of anticipated seeing Stafford, and then we had to adjust a little bit when we saw a lot more Perkins.
Yeah, you guys had 3 guys out on the offensive line, did a pretty good job of keeping Aaron Donald at bay for the most part. What was kind of the emphasis there this week with that matchup?
Yeah, put as many hats on him as we can. I mean, he's a hell of a player, and it's hard to block him with one. It's hard to block him with two. We just tried to put as many hats on him as we could and try to limit his ability to just take over the game. And I thought overall, our guys did a pretty good job. I mean, I know we made some plays, but I thought overall, I think the offensive line deserves a lot of credit. I think the offensive coaches and specifically the line coaches getting those guys ready to play. I thought that was outstanding.
Coach, it seemed the average drive start was between the 30 and 35-yard line. How much did that factor into the success of the offense today?
Well, look, I mean, anytime you get good field position, it's beneficial, for the offense. And we've talked about that a lot in terms of creating field position for the offense. And look, we had a punt that we pinned them down there on, I think, the 3-yard line. We were able to, get off the field defensively and create some field position there. So I think that's really what a complimentary game's all about. That's really what a team wins all about, is creating field position and taking advantage of it when you got it.
Without seeing the snap count breakdown between Taysom and Andy, it looked like the decision pretty much kind of rotate those guys and have a lot today. What went into that decision? Why was that the way against
Yeah, look, I mean, I just think, each week we go in and try to, figure out what's the best way that we can move the ball and be effective and score points. And, I felt like we had a good plan for both Andy and Taysom at the quarterback position. And I thought Pete called a good game. I thought those guys went out there and executed the plan. So it's always good when it works, right? I mean, everybody, but I thought the offense did a really good job.
Just following up on that a little bit, was the plan going in to kind of get Taysom a lot of run, or was it just something that developed during the game?
No, the plan going in was to get Taysom involved. So as a matter of fact, I think Andy got a little frustrated throughout the week that we had so many plays where Taysom was in at the quarterback position. But that's the great thing about our group. Our group just wants to win, and they'll do whatever they have to do to try to win. And that was something that we felt gave us a good chance this week. And our guys went out and executed it.
Dennis, not that you need any justification, but do you think today's play by Andy kind of cemented your belief in,
look, we're just trying to win games, and so I don't really look at it that way. We put a plan together offensively to go out and execute. I think our players went out and executed it at a high level, and we won a football game. And so we'll take that. We'll feel good about it, and we'll get ready to move on to the next one.
Coach, look at the stats here. 2 penalties today. Clearly, it's something that smart football, I guess. I mean, what are your thoughts on just playing a clean game today?
Yeah, well, look, we didn't do things that were going to beat ourselves today, and that was good to see. Look, I thought we had a great week of practice. I thought our guys were locked in and focused in on the plan. They knew what we had to do. And we had some guys that haven't played a lot that stepped up and did some good things.
Dennis, was this the most that you've used Taysom in passing, just pure pass plays as opposed to mostly running it? And would you say this is maybe your recipe going forward offensively, is to have a bigger mix of each guy at quarterback?
Yeah, I think we got to look at that on a week by week basis. I'm not ready to sit here and say that we're going to just carbon copy the game plan for next week. Next week we got a different opponent. It'll be challenging. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good plan, and I thought our guys executed it.
I was going to ask you this even before you mentioned that about Andy splitting the snaps with Taysom in practice this week. How
how has Andy responded to the kind of the not for sure knowing how long he's going to be in this role?
He's a veteran player. He's been in this league for a long time. He understands how things operate. And look, we all know as a football team, all of us understand that when you're, when you're not having the success that you want to have, then, everything's going to get evaluated. And so I think he's handled it outstanding. I think our whole group's handled, the pressures of the season and not probably living up to some of the expectations that we had for ourselves. I think they've all handled that well, and I think it showed out there today.
And yeah, Andy's performance, but the offense as a whole today, after admittedly the last 2 weeks had probably been the least effective offensive performances, was that really important to see that response this week?
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. I give a ton of credit to the offensive coaches and the offensive players. And again, put a good plan together, go out and execute the plan. And that's what they did today.
Hey, Dennis, how do you feel like the defensive line did, especially without Cam and Davenport?
It looked like they played pretty well.
I'm a mute.
I don't know that we got as much pressure as I would have liked early on, especially in that 2-minute drive.
I didn't see y'all comment.
I thought we were more effective getting after the quarterback in the second half. But I think overall it looked to me, on the hoof that they did pretty well. And obviously we lost Peyton fairly early in the game. So
speaking of,
all right, there you go. Man. All right. Okay, family. I got him muted, fam. Now listen, this is the thing, man, with Dennis Allen, man. He dropped a little nugget about Andy Dalton not liking the fact that Taysom Hill was mixing the snaps between the two. He didn't like that. That's interesting. Like, I'm gonna be the quarterback. No. It's not work like that. Yeah, and that goes to show you, man, people really don't like Dennis Allen, man. Damn. Because he don't speak with no authority, man. I mean, there's no authority in his voice, man. There's no authority in his voice. No authority. All right. Yep. A lot of people, man. Yeah. He don't really give you too much, bro. He don't give you too much. He really don't give you too much, fam. He don't give you too much at all. All right, fam. So in a minute, you should hear from another player. Here go Taysom Hill, fam. And Taysom Hill.
This week, Adam Trautman said that the more desperate team was there today. How desperate was the team this game, you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, I think DA just said it. We're well aware of where we're at in the season and our record and everything else. But look, I think we approach every week with the same mentality. And, I think this week there may have been a more added emphasis on going out to win the football game, right? Like, what do we have to lose? So let's call everything we've got on this call sheet. Let's push the ball down the field. And I would say that maybe that was emphasized a little bit more than in weeks past.
Do you back at quarterback now, it seems like what Dennis said, at least from week to week, does that make you happy being back in this role? I know it's kind of been a juggling act all season.
Yeah, look, me personally, I don't feel like anything has ever changed, like from 2018 to where we're at now. So there was a lot of conversation earlier about me going to the tight end room and what that was going to look like and everything else. But as I talked and met with Pete, at the end of the day, the conversation was, hey, we just want to use you more, and so we want to make sure that we are preparing you for what we're going to ask of you. And so I feel like that's what that was. And so as the season's played out, or we just played this game week 11, I'm not surprised at how things have gone. And this is kind of how I have always envisioned it. And then every week is a little bit different, right? Like we got ahead throughout the game and kind of allowed us to run everything we had this week and the call sheet, and created more opportunities for me. But there's still opportunities in previous week. We just didn't get to them.
Was this the most extensive package they had for you, or was all the stuff you did today in the package? You just got to more of it today?
Yeah, I think what you said second is right. We just got to it more today. And, you look at the last few weeks, we just didn't have very many snaps. And so, I think every game is a little bit different. And, the focus is whatever, like, what do we have to do to win this week? And I had a few more opportunities.
Has Pete used you more in the quarterback position this year, you think? Or have you guys developed that more during practice? Or do you think it's just a per game, per scheme, per strategy?
Honestly, I don't feel like anything has really changed from what I've done to years past with Sean versus what I've done with Pete. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah.
When you mentioned that it was sort of a what do we have to lose approach this week, what is players' moods and mentalities like? Was there a need for a pick-me-up, or energy has really remained high? Like, I mean, how did that factor in not only to the approach, but what was the energy and the attitude of players after two tough losses?
I think the attitude was, man, like just go cut it loose. I think early on there was a lot of conversation of how we're going to win football games, and maybe create a little hesitancy, and I felt like because our division hasn't played well, right? And so we weren't playing great. We kept losing games, and so but the message was we're still in it. And I think the mindset this week was, hey, let's get rid of any anxiety. Let's go cut it loose. What do we have to lose at this point? And let's go play our brand of football and not worry about anything else.
I know you can't make this comparison for the whole team, but does that possibly lead to, there were like no penalties, I don't think, on offense today. So, does playing without anxiety actually help that category?
Yeah, you talk about as a team, as a player, like it's hard to play tight, and I don't know how everybody was feeling this week, but I know that we had conversations offensively about like playing for each other, like you're in that huddle, there's only 11 you guys out there, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. So let's just go have fun together. And maybe that carried over to the no penalties and execution and everything else, but it's hard to say.
Obviously, the offensive line is banged up, and you're running a lot of power sets. When that's the case, does that affect kind of how you approach particular plays, the kind of gaps you're trying to go at, and how do you think that group kind of held up today?
I thought they did a great job. I haven't seen statistically what the numbers were, but I felt like we ran the ball really well, and those guys came in and battled. So I was really impressed with what they did, and I think. On the next level up, I thought the coaches, the element of what makes a coach great, and I think we got great coaches in there, is they put us players in a position to be successful. And it doesn't matter if you're the backup or the third, whatever it is, like their job, and they spend a lot of time putting us in positions where they think we'll be successful, and they did that.
There were no penalties or turnovers on offense. Did it feel like a clean game out there for y'all?
For sure. Yeah, we're well aware the ball security stuff is talked about a lot, and field position, time of possession, all those things. Like we were able to just check the box this week.
And the phrase like "we beat ourselves" has been used before. Does this finally feel like we beat the opponent?
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought much of it from that perspective, but. It's tough to win a game in this league if you're turning the ball over and if you're putting yourself in second, third, and long situations because of penalties. And, again, I haven't seen the statistics, but I imagine we were pretty good on third down too because of that.
I know on one of the scoring drives, I think you and Andy rotated every play. And then Dennis just alluded to the fact that it was kind of difficult for Andy at practice to grasp that, I guess. Do you remember the last time you rotated quite that much at the quarterback position? I mean, would it be BYU or high school or ever?
No. I mean, I was in high school, BYU. I just played quarterback, But look, I think I don't want to speak for Andy, but I think a lot of Andy. I think a lot of Jameis. I've got a great relationship with both of those guys, and so I never felt any tension or anything like that. Andy and I maybe have like a little running joke, like, hey, you can take this play off, or whatever it may be. But man, I'm Andy's biggest fan, and I feel like he's my biggest fan too. And at the end of the day, the end goal is the same. So it doesn't matter how we get there as long as we're winning football games.
Taysom, what does a win like this then do moving forward here for the team?
Say that again.
What does a win like this do then for the team moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, that's a Ram team that's a little banged up, but they won the Super Bowl last year, and we're well aware of that. And I think the mindset is, hey, let's continue to build on what we did. So we've talked about offensively at least, no turnovers, no penalties. Man, and if we continue to play that style of football, we're going to be a really tough team to beat. So as we forecast in the next week, let's continue to do that, and that'll be the mindset. All good. Thanks, guys.
All right, y'all. Let's Taysom Hill, man. Taysom Hill dropping the science. Here's Chris Olave. Family. Chris Olave is next.
You've had a great season. This was just another step for you. Just take me through the touchdown. That was a big play in this game.
We dialed up a really good play. Coach called a really good play on third down. We kind of practiced that against that look this week, and we got the look we wanted. And Andy threw a great ball, line protected well, and that was the outcome.
Chris, how much would you say you guys needed this?
It was much needed. I mean, y'all seen the games we've been through. We had 2 consecutive bad games, and just to get a win against the reigning champs was huge. And I feel like that's a great step we're taking forward.
How does the movement at quarterback between Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill, how does it feel for you from the receiver position? Obviously, you'll work through this a lot, but does that have any impact on your game at all?
Not really. I just try to help them as much as possible. They're both great quarterbacks, as long as Jameis, but they're doing a great job. OC's doing a good job. So I'm just there to be supportive and make sure I'm doing my job so they can count on me.
Chris, that third quarter offensively is probably one of the better quarters that this offense has had this season. What was going from your perspective going right with the offense, and were there any major changes you guys made at halftime going into that third quarter offensively?
Not really. I mean, we just came out aggressive. We knew we had to move the ball down the field and score points to win the game. So that's what we did coming out of halftime, and we just started clicking in the second half. And like we said, we just took over the momentum, and defense played a great game also. So like I said, we just got some good plays going early and just built on that in the second half.
How much pride do you take in your ability to stretch the field and really make some of those deep plays happen?
I feel like that's my job. That's why they drafted me to come here. I feel like I could just stretch the field and try to get open at all times when I'm running a route. And I feel like I just try to make it easier on the quarterback, and my teammates make me a lot better. And I feel like the coaches and everybody in the organization, we definitely needed this win, and we come out with some energy in the second half. And I feel like we got some momentum going forward into next week.
Can you talk about the advantage of having Jarvis back out there with you?
It's huge having him on and off the field. He's a leader. He's a great leader, as he was through his career. He's got that dog mentality, so it rubs off on other people. And having him off the field when things aren't going well, he's always there picking everybody up and doing all the little things that matters the most. I feel like Jarvis was a great pickup, and he's definitely helped me out throughout my first year. So,
Chris, when you guys are down 3 offensive linemen, you're going against a guy like Aaron Donald. Do you guys put any like pressure on yourself or anything like, hey, I got to get open quicker? Does anything change with the approach, like just given that circumstance?
I mean, yeah, it's Aaron Donald, but it's really a race against the D line. And we knew we was playing against Aaron Donald, and he's a great player, probably one of the best players in the league. So we definitely wanted to speed up everything and try to get open, but we just wanted to stick to our game. And we knew if we played our game, it was going to come out well. So. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Chris Olave chiming in, man, getting his thoughts in that. He was fantastic in the game, by the way. Chris Olave was awesome, man. Here go Andy Dalton, fam.
When you let go of it, did it feel right? Talk about what you saw in that play, and I'm guessing you're pretty happy with that throw, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had a little pressure too. So when you turn it loose and then you get hit, you're on the ground. You never know what's going to happen. But I mean, to have that outcome, to feel like I put the ball in a great spot. Chris was, exactly how we had it planned. Taking that shot down the field, and we got a look that we wanted, and he made a big play.
Have you been waiting on that one? Like you just said, you got the look you wanted. Was that one that you were sort of sitting on to get the look you wanted?
Well, I mean, every time you drop a game plan, you install your plays. It's like, all right, you'd love to have this look versus certain plays, and you don't always get the look that you want. And for us, when Pete called it, it was the perfect time. And so, I mean, it happened exactly how we were hoping it would.
How aware were you that Aaron Donald was closing in on that particular play?
I was pretty aware, So, I mean, I'll just ask Chris about speeding up, your routes and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, you got to play on time. And when you can play on time, good things happen. And half a second longer, then that's a sack, incomplete pass. But for us, you guys doing the exact thing that we're exactly how we want it done. And if you can play on time at the quarterback position and get the ball out, good things can happen.
How big were those 2 drives coming out of halftime? Obviously, you guys were down going into half and coming out and getting those 2 touchdown drives.
It's huge. I think when we knew we were getting the ball at the start of the second half, and especially since they scored right before halftime, for us, you wanted to get into a rhythm early, and I thought that we did a great job of being aggressive. First play of second half, got a big play to Chris, and then we just had the momentum from then on. So to go down and score was huge, and exactly what we wanted to do.
I know Chris has been your consistent receiver, at least that you've found. Having Jarvis back this week, how much is that big to y'all's effect, at least on offensive strategy?
Yeah, I mean, it's really big. Everybody knows what Jarvis can do, what he's done throughout his whole career. And so to get him back in the mix, I think we can continue to find ways to get him the ball. He made some big plays for us. Obviously, the touchdown was awesome, exactly what we want. But, a couple plays before, he caught a nice seam ball that allowed us to get down there.
Obviously, one of the things this team hasn't been able to do this year is win back-to-back games. Were there things in this game that you think, from an offensive perspective, were figured out, and how do you kind of roll that forward into next week to kind of get on a streak?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've got to carry over the momentum into this week. And so, that's the most important thing we can do. We can enjoy this one today, but moving forward, we got to find ways that the things that we did really well, things that we can build on, and find the things that we need to correct. And that's the nature of this game. And when you week in and week out, you got to correct the mistakes, but it's easier to correct the mistakes off of a win. And I think everybody understands that. And the feeling around the building after a win is always way more positive than the opposite.
Taysom talked about a little bit like of a different mentality, sort of a let it rip mentality, try anything. Did you sort of feel that? Like, let's just give everything a shot today?
Yeah, I think that's kind of just where we're at and what we need to do is just cut it loose. So why not? And for us, I felt like there was some things that we did today that maybe earlier in the season we probably wouldn't have done. And so I think that's a big reason why we're sitting here with a win today.
Like what?
Well, I mean, I just think being aggressive. I think that's something that I think we came into the game knowing that we could do. Shoot, you can look at the first third down of the game, throwing the ball down the field on 3rd and 1. And I think that's just the mindset mentality that we have to have.
What does this one mean for you guys at this point in the season?
I mean, after a couple losses, when you finally get another win under your belt, it feels good. It feels exactly, for us, just the way we talked this week and the things that we wanted to get done, we were able to do it. So, it's nice to get this one this week.
What was it like for you just kind of splitting snaps with Taysom coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out? And what are some of the challenges of that for a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of how we play offense. And when you can play that way and have success with me in there, then Taysom in there, and, the defense doesn't know what's going to happen next. So, it's just part of the way we play.
Andy, well, two-parter, because I wanted to ask, I think DA cracked a smile when he said it, but he said you were getting a little frustrated this week with how many snaps Taysom took at quarterback. I don't know if he was joking or not, but is that hard? Is that something that you do actually have to overcome? I mean, that makes it a little harder?
No, I'm never upset with the number of snaps that Taysom takes, because I know how successful we've been able to be with it and how many positive plays come from it. So, I mean, Taysom's a unique asset for us. And, a lot of teams have really good players. We happen to have one that can be all over the field and actually play quarterback too. And so I think that's our advantage. And for me, there's no discouragement when it happens.
And then I just I know you've been in situations where you've been the backup and been in and out of the lineup in recent years, but sort of this week to week, not knowing even at the beginning of the week for sure if you'd be starting this week or how short it could be, and then to respond the way you did. I mean, was that something difficult to overcome? Are you proud of the way you kind of played through this week?
I think at the end of the day, I'm happy with the way that we were able to play today. And the adversity that we had faced the last couple of weeks, especially offensively, everybody talks about we obviously haven't scored enough points. We obviously haven't played as well as we had in previous weeks. But for us to put all that aside and focus on this game, what we were trying to accomplish, had a great plan going in, and we went out and executed it, regardless of all the other stuff that goes on. I think that's what makes you the most proud. And, that's for me personally and for this group.
You mentioned that early 3rd and 1 earlier. I believe that one was to Juwan Johnson. He's got 5 touchdowns over the past 5 weeks. How would you describe what he's brought to this team?
Yeah, Juwan has done so many good things, and his ability to stretch the field and get open, and the matchup that we get with him has been really, really good for us. And it doesn't surprise me that he scored, as many touchdowns as he has these last several weeks. So, he's a really good player for us.
How close were you guys to hitting on that trick play? I don't know if you got to look at it a second time after coming off the field or anything like that.
I don't know. I haven't. I'll have to watch it on film. I'm going to say it probably wasn't the most ideal look for it, but I've got to find a way to throw it away. I can't take that big sack.
Andy, when the coach sticks with you, do you want to reward him with something like what you did today?
I think at the end of the day, I want to play the way I know I'm capable of playing. And I know if I do that, then, everybody will be happy with it. And so at the end of the day, I feel like I have to do the job that I know that I'm capable of doing and play the way I'm capable of playing. And the rest of that, all that stuff will take care of itself. Thank you all.
All right. All right, family. That's Andy Dalton. Here go Demario Davis.
How much fun was that? It looked like you and Kate Ellis were sort of running around a lot. Looked like you guys were having fun. How much fun was all of that?
It's great when we're able to come out and play with the energy and the speed that we're capable of, able to pin our ears back and play fast. And it was just one of those evenings. And so it was a ton of fun.
After last week and all the defensive penalties, how rewarding was it to have such a clean game?
Just a week by week basis. I feel like where we're at in the season, you can't look before, you can't look behind you. You just play the day that's in front of you. And there was some things that we did well today. Certainly some things that we can improve on. Regardless, we got to look at the tape and just find a way to keep leveling up. It was great that we were able to do enough today to get the win. But let's continue to find ways to get better.
Mario, a couple of guys have talked about sort of the cut it loose and play for each other message from this week. How important did you guys recognize after those two losses in particular, how important it was to try to stave off any possible despair at this stage of the season?
I think I communicated earlier, the main thing is focus on where you're at. And all we had today was the opportunity that was in front of us today. Understanding our message was you bend, but you never break. This team has always been resilient. So no matter what it was coming in, every day is an opportunity to snap back. And today we were able to do that. And it was a lot of fun doing it.
Demario, how difficult is it to adjust when a quarterback goes down and there's a different, I guess, skill set of the backup quarterback? How difficult is that to adjust as a defense?
That's the importance of studying film. That wasn't the first time we were seeing that quarterback. He's played a ton on film. He's been a kind of a change of pace quarterback. When he come in, we knew he could run the ball well. He would come in on kind of a wildcat offense. I think they use him in a lot of ways, like we use Taysom. And so we had seen him on film. Certainly not in like a 2-minute situation where we got a chance to see him multiple times. He did some good things and made it challenging on us. And it was great that ultimately we were able to get after him and prevail.
Mario, what do you think of the way Caden Ellis has kind of responded to being put in that starting lineup after Pete went down?
Oh, man. 5'5" has probably been, for the last couple years, the best kept secret in the NFL. We knew what type of player he was, and now he's getting that opportunity, and he's showing it to the world. I don't know if anybody's shocked when they watch it in our building. I'm sure he's shocking a lot of people who didn't know. But just give it time. He's going to be on everybody's radar.
When you guys are missing that many defensive line, was there anything different on your plate this week because of that, either in the pass rush scheme or otherwise, when that many guys are out?
I mean, we take it one day at a time, and it's always a next up mentality. It's actually quite phenomenal when you think that we don't have Marshawn Lattimore, we don't have Roby, we don't have Davenport, we don't have Cam Jordan, we lose Peyton Turner, we don't have Pete Werner. I mean, you think about all the guys that we have that play at a high level that's not in our lineup on the defense. For us still to be able to go out there and execute is really phenomenal, and it feels really good. But that's just the nature of the league. One of our slogans is, most people don't care about your problems, and the other half or the rest of the people are glad you got them. And so regardless, you have to find a way, and it was great that we were able to do that today.
Mario, when the team has faced as much adversity as you have this year, what's your leadership approach and what type of leadership are you bringing to the defense?
If you go back and watch my message to the team today is you can learn a lot from nature. And if you think about palm trees, they bend, but they don't break. And hurricanes come to the palm trees all the time, and they lean all the way to the ground, but they never break. And the reason why they don't is because every time there's a storm, they just dig deeper. Their roots go deeper in the ground, and that's what we do. every storm. That's the great thing about not just this team, but this city. It's so resilient. And we've been faced with a lot of adversity. And sometimes it feels like storm on top of the storm. But the great thing is it's making our roots go deeper. And when that storm passes, we always snap back. You don't just come back. And so that's the exciting thing. And it was great putting that on display today. It certainly felt like a snapback moment. So it was a lot of fun. All right. Thank you, guys. God bless. And I mean, that's just the nature of who we are. Just a team. Down the stretch, that's what it's going to take. Each and every game is, big team, little me approach. That's who we've been since the beginning, and that's what we got to continue to be. All right, happy Thanksgiving. God bless.
All right. There's a series of players, man. A series of black and gold guys chiming in, man. A very long press conference for this one, man. And to be honest with you, Demario Davis, Drew Brees, and the rest of them, man. I mean, not Drew Brees, but Drew Brees. I was looking at pictures of Drew and Mark Ingram hugging on Drew and Cam and Bushrod and the rest of those guys. And then I was like, that's cool and all, but I was looking at Gail. Gail was the more impressive. Gail was the one that I was paying attention to. I was standing on that sideline. You know what I'm saying? The hell with Drew. You know, let me show it to you. Here it is right here. You see it? You see Gail right there? The hell with them. Look at Gail right here, man. You see Gail? Gail right there looking around. You know, that's what I'm thinking about. Look at Gail to the bottom. The hell with Drew Brees. Drew Brees ain't a part of the team no more, man. You know, the hell with that. Look, I'm concerned about the woman that's cutting the checks. She on the field looking around. You see Gail right there? Gail, like, look, she ain't smiling. She ain't got to look. Look, she looking. She like, let me see what's going on down here. You know, what the hell happened down here? Let me go and check this out. What the hell? You know, look at her looking around saying, let me see what's going on down here. What the hell going on down here? Yes, indeed. Gail looking, man. Look at her doing it. Gail said, hold on here. Let me see. I'm getting all these people mad at me, man. Hold on here. What's going on out here? Gail got up on that field. They worrying about Drew Brees. Drew Brees ain't worth $5 billion and own that team. The hell with all that hugging and shit. That ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now. The big story is Gail up on that field. Look. Gail was on the field looking. Gail was on the field looking. Gail was looking. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The hell with all that Drew Brees love. That ain't helping nothing right now. It's Gail looking. But anyway, fam, listen, man. This is a good win by the black and gold, man, today. To get ready for the 49ers next Sunday, at 3 o'clock. So that'll be the next matchup right there for the black and gold. And I think the biggest pull from this game right here is the fact that the Saints were able to come together in three facets: offense, defense, special teams, and get the win. Wasn't a perfect game, but the offense got on code, defense got on code, things worked. And it was the first game in 2 games that the Saints defense wasn't out there on the field for 40 minutes of a 60-minute game. They were a lot grateful because they had a lot more energy to kind of complete this game. Plus, you know, they had a lot of positive stuff that happened for us and not for them. When we knocked Mathew Stafford out of the game, that basically destroyed whatever offense they had, and they were able to run the ball. But if Stafford would have stayed in there, I think it'd have been a lot more competitive down the stretch. But the Saints got him up out of there. They were able to get to him and sack him several times and put the game at an end, get a little revenge for what happened several years ago in the NFC Championship matchup. You know, so that's neither here or there. I think, you know, it was a positive situation for the Saints. They got a lot to clean up on. They really didn't have that many penalties in this matchup, which was a positive. They didn't run the ball as effectively as I like, but they still made adjustments for mistakes that the team did. They kept their penalties down, their miscues down, and they were able to, in the second half of the game, kind of elevate their play. So they made adjustments that actually worked. They adjusted, and the Rams didn't have an adjustment for their adjustment. And the Saints were able to push it on through and get the win, 27-20. Now, spanning ahead as the Saints improved to 4-7. We're gonna go over the scores in just a second before we dirk out. But what's interesting is this: going into it, can the Saints take? And you heard one of the reporters ask Dennis Allen his question was, can you take some of these things from this game and move them into the next game? And Dennis Allen's response was, we can't carbon copy the game plan because it's a different team. That's true in essence. That is true in essence because different teams have different tendencies and different personnel. You know, the 49ers are a lot better team than the Rams are currently. 49ers can run the ball and throw the ball, and they have a really good defense. You know, so it takes a different approach. But there are certain things that you can reproduce. And those are the things that I'm thinking about, the positives that worked against the Rams. You're going to have to take those and use to see if you can get them against the 49ers. The fact that the Saints started to speed up their offense by making Dalton throw the ball quicker on slants and comeback hook routes, stuff like that. He was able to get the ball out a lot faster. That really helped the Saints offense out and kind of caught the Rams off of guard. Saints will have to run the ball a lot better, and they can't over rely on Andy Dalton. I love the mix of how they mix Taysom Hill in there with Andy Dalton to kind of keep the Rams off kilter, because you got Andy in there throwing the passes. You got Taysom in there running. As a running back, he averaged over 6 yards per carry out there, and his force is just phenomenal. Juwan Johnson got going. Jarvis Landry got going. You got to get all those guys involved. So you're going to have to carbon copy the game plan to a degree against the 49ers to have success. You're going to have to run the football. You can't over rely on Andy Dalton or any aspect of any game. You're going to have to be as balanced as you possibly can be, along with the defense. So we know Peyton Turner was carted off. The Saints will have to address that next week. They're going to have to bring some guys in. I think the Saints really need to get another interior defensive lineman. They need to bring another interior defensive lineman, maybe a nose tackle. I keep saying Malcolm Brown. They need somebody else in the interior that can help out. And, of course, with Peyton out, you might want to look at other guys, maybe Jordan Jackson, who's on the 7th-round draft pick from Air Force. What does he look like? Could he get some burn? You know, it's some stuff that we have to do from a defensive standpoint to fortify some of the losses that we have, because we'll get Cam back next week. Hopefully we'll get Davenport back next week, because we're going to need them for the 49ers matchup. So outside of that, and then the underlying question is, the biggest question I have is Dennis Allen. Can a Dennis Allen-led football team win 2 games in a row? Then 3 games in a row? Because you don't have any room for error now. You got the game. Congratulations. But it's a small part of a large whole. You're going to have to be able to string these together. And are the Saints disciplined enough under Dennis Allen to string together multiple wins to become relevant in a terrible NFC South? Me, I have minus faith in Dennis Allen. I say no. But hopefully they prove me wrong on this. What do you say? Do you have faith in Dennis Allen? And do you have faith in this Saints team to win multiple games in a row? You got the 49ers up next in San Fran. You got the Buccaneers next. After that, in Tampa Bay, you go on the bye week. You come back to the Dome for Atlanta. Then you go to Cleveland and Philadelphia, and then you close out the season with the Carolina Panthers. So do you believe that you can do that? That's the question. Saints don't have no more room for error. They really don't. All right, let's look at some of the statistics, family, before we dirk out of this thing. In the matchup right now, in the second quarter, the Broncos are beating the Raiders 10-0. The Cowboys right now in the first quarter are up on the Vikings 10-3. The Bengals in the first is about to end. They're beating the Steelers 10-3. The Chiefs got a night game against the Chargers. The Browns came up short against the Bills 31-23. The Ravens beat the Panthers 13-3. The Falcons topped the Bears 27-24 to go to 5-6. The Eagles in a close one with the Colts 17-6. The Jets lose to the Patriots 10-3. The Lions get a win over the Giants 31-18. Congratulations to Detroit. And the Commanders, man, my dog Louis T squad, the Commanders beat the Texans 23-10. They are 6-5, after a win over Philly, I think it was. So the Commanders, man, doing some stuff at home. They winning at home, the chagrin of Schneider and the rest of his people. And of course, the Thursday night matchup was the Titans getting the win over the Packers. Packers then fell through the floor, and the Monday night matchup places the 49ers. We got to do some scouting against the Niners on Monday night, and that's because that's our next team that we got up against as they take on the Cardinals. So that's interesting, to say the least. So with that being said, fam, we're going to get ready to get on out on that one. Listen, I appreciate all the family members for chiming in on this one. Please feel to hit the like button. If you didn't hit the like button, hit the like button as well. And shout out to the fam. Not certain, but I don't think Lattimore coming back anytime soon, bro. I don't think no time soon. Lacerated kidney and 2 broken ribs. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. Vera says, I would love to see Winston. Dalton needs to go. He doesn't play with heart, and DA has some mental instabilities. Thank you, Vera. Shout out to you. All right. 504 says, I got faith in the players, not DA. Princess says, you sure right, Dedrick. Jerry Jones ain't got nothing on Gale. A woman scorned. They done made. Come on out the box. Yes. And appreciate you, Brother John, as well. Shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate you. Shout out to Tasha. Thank you, Tasha. Much love to you. And the entire Who Dat Nation, man. Listen, I appreciate you guys for joining us in this one. All right. Michael says, Caden Ellis, reason why. Yes, like Zach Bowen. Zach Bowen. Don't forget Zach Bowen. Caden Ellis stepping it up, man. Caden Ellis, man, is stepping it up and doing a wonderful job in place of Pete Werner, man. That's a big plus. He had 11 tackles today. That's big. All right, so with that being said, man, we're going to do it. Thank you, Brother Roger. Shout out to you, my brother. All right, Brother Wallace, last comment said, we need a pass rush and a defensive tackle for next week, and I think players will play hard enough and have chances all our players come back. Thank you, bro. Shout out to you. So with that being said, man, I'm going to get out on that. Listen, I appreciate you. Another fun day. Saints win the game 27-20, are now 4-7. Next matchup is against the San Francisco 49ers next Sunday afternoon. It's going to be interesting. Saints need to string together wins under Dennis Allen. Never been done before. We'll see if they can do it. We'll see here and watch it. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get out. Please feel free, family, to do me a favor. Hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscriber button as we're getting close and close. Our goal is we a couple hundred people off of hitting that 10,000 a family member mark for the Sports Coma channel. Man, it's been a great journey all the years we've been up in this thing doing it, trend setting and carrying on, keeping it real deal. Holyfield, $1.15. We just need a couple hundred more people. Smash on that like button and get us over the top. So with that being said, fam, I'm gonna get on now. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. Y'all keep your heads up. And who that to?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network. New Orleans Saints.
Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.